Hello, Internet. Ed from Iridium Solutions and the Iridium Group. I'm here to talk to you today about the workbook for our course, Control Massive Bleeding. I wanted to speak on this because this is something that when you come to class, you're going to get and you're going to take home. And this workbook is really comprehensive. It's written in a way that you'll be able to retain information, but it also doesn't just tell you what to do. There's a lot of the why behind what we're doing. And so I wanted to create this, and I wrote this. I wanted to create this so that you would have something when you left the class and you thought about it or decompressed or whatever, a week went by, you could go ahead and reference the stuff that you'd learned and get the why, which helps to cement all the sort of hard skills that we're learning, what to do. Knowing why you're doing a thing can help you, especially if you have to improvise that thing. A lot of people make a big deal about improvising tourniquets or pressure bandages or whatever, right? Improvised litters from your environment. A big component of being able to do that effectively is knowing what you're trying to accomplish and why. If you have that critical piece, the why, it really helps you figure that out. So that's what this book is about. We're going to spend a little bit of time talking about it, and I'm going to give you just a brief introduction and overview of what we're talking about. But first, because we're on the internet, remember, hit the like button, hit the share button. If you found any value in this, send it to a friend. If you find no value in this, send it to 10 friends. Tell them how dumb this Canadian is. That'll really get the internet all worked up. Do the things. You know what I'm talking about. It helps us, helps get the word out there. It's going to bring more civilians to class. It's going to get more people trained up on this sort of thing, which means more lives can be saved, and that's a good thing. So Control Massive Bleeding is an introduction to tactical emergency casualty care. I'm going to go to the book here. I'm going to read a little bit from the foreword. Okay, the Iridium Solutions CMB course is based off the body of knowledge of Tactical Combat Casualty Care, that's TECC, Tactical Emergency Casualty Care, that's TECC, the U.S. Army Combat Lifesavers course. Okay, so those bodies of knowledge came together in order for me to write this. It's further informed by pre-hospital civilian medical practitioners such as paramedics and emergency medical responders, both in urban or remote settings. So I know people and I interview people, I brought them together, both people who ride in ambulances for a living and help people who ride in helicopters for a living and help people, search and rescue technicians, and then trauma doctors, ER doctors, people like that. So we've got a really wide breadth of experience that's been poured into this, which means higher value for you because it isn't just some guy regurgitating all the shit he heard on the internet. The material presented has been vetted for accuracy by professional medical personnel and is periodically updated as new tactics, techniques, and protocols evolve out of continued study, research, and improvement. The sort of trauma medicine field is constantly evolving, right? It wouldn't look like a flat, calm lake, okay? It would look like sort of a choppy ocean. Things are changing, things are being tested out, things are being pressure tested all the time. As new techniques or tactics, procedures evolve and become the sort of current standard, then we update this. And so what we're doing is we're staying consistent with the most current standards, which means that you're being taught to the most current standards, which effectively means that if you take this course in 2022 and then take it again in 2024 or 2025, this is going to be a little different. Hopefully not too much, but we'll let the sort of the people who are driving that dictate that. After completing this course, you will have seen, heard, read, and practiced the primary trauma interventions known to provide the greatest benefits in a trauma casualty's chances for survival. We're going to focus on the big ones, okay? You will learn how and why to evaluate blood loss and stop bleeding quickly, when to call emergency services, and how to effectively communicate your situation and desired resources. I could make this a 2-day course. We could talk about hemostatics and all the different tourniquets and chest seals and like different levels. But as an introductory course for everybody, anybody from carpenters to hunters to shooting enthusiasts to boaters to hikers to mountain climbers, boiler makers, pipeliners, everybody can benefit from this by being able to intercede in a trauma situation and improve the outcome for a casualty or for themselves. So we condense it down to the primary things that you can do. Okay? You're going to learn how to reduce risk to yourself while rendering aid, the legal ramifications of civilian assistance in trauma situations, how and when to reassess your casualty, and how to reduce the negative effects of restricted airway, shock, and hypothermia. Okay? And you might be asking, hey Ed, you wrote this, why are you reading out of it? Because I want, when you come to class, I want you to have seen it and heard it on a video, and then I want you to be able to physically read it, and then have me physically say these things to you. That gives you 3 different vectors of having the information come into your head, which is going to dramatically increase your chances at long-term retention. That's why. And so I'm making sure that the words that I say aren't me paraphrasing what I wrote. I'm saying what I wrote so that it's going to be the same as what you read and then what you hear in class. All skills and equipment application will be demonstrated, discussed, and then practiced by you, using your own trainer kit that you will retain and take home at the end of class. This will provide you with the equipment you need to continue your training, and in the unfortunate event that you are a responder to a vehicle crash, construction injury, or heavy equipment accident after class today, the tools you need to save a life. Don't laugh. That happens more often than you think. So you're going to walk away from class with this kit that you used all the contents of, everything put back in, and yes, they will all be once used. And so this shouldn't be your primary trauma kit afterwards. But you're going to go home with all the stuff so that if, as you leave, we're in a hotel, as you leave the hotel, right across the street, there's somebody that needs a tourniquet, you've got a CAT Generation 7 tourniquet that you can apply to them. And you're going to know how to call 911 to get help here sooner. So that's a big part of this deal. This class primarily focuses on the M in the March mnemonic, which stands for massive hemorrhage, also known as massive bleeding. We touch briefly on the other letters of the algorithm, but this course is about what you can do to make sure the casualty makes it through the first 4 minutes post-injury. We have to ask, what's killing my casualty now, and work to fix it. As the first responder to our own or someone else's emergency, we have a lot to do. Make the scene safe to work in, protect ourselves from harm, keep as much of the blood in the casualty's body as we can, and establish communications with a higher level of care or response. Often, we must do this without other trained assistants at our disposal. You may end up doing this by yourself with 7 or 8 people standing around you holding their cell phones out. That happens, well, all the time. It's a lot to manage, but we're going to teach you about that. Now, Iridium Solutions is a recognized educational partner with the Committee on Tactical Emergency Casualty Care, C-TECC. Okay? This class is consistent with the current TECC guidelines, which are available at www.c-tecc.org. We're in Canada. Look around at the other people teaching Stop the Bleed, TECC, whatever tactical medical training that they're giving to civilians, and see who has gone in the extra step and said, hey, we're going to register with one of the committees that put out the guidelines. The TECC guidelines are the ones that are used, they're adapted from the TCCC guidelines, which are military combat guidelines. And they're the ones in use by EMS, law enforcement, civilians, not just in North America, okay, all around the world. So this is a robust set of guidelines, and that's what this course is taught to. That means that you coming here are getting a very, very good information and not a lot of bullshit, frankly. So you're getting what you need when you need it, and not a lot of fluff, not a lot of padding. I do this in a 6-hour course. If we have a very full class, maybe 8, just so everyone gets enough demonstration. This doesn't need to be a 2-day course. I don't need to tell you a bunch of stories about myself. I can teach this very effectively in a short amount of time. And then you have this to sort of refer back to afterwards. So that's it. That's a couple pages of the overview of the Control Massive Bleeding course workbook. Really hope to see you in class. There's a lot more that isn't in the book that we talk about and actually do in class. But this is part of it. This and this are the things. This is why you don't need to bring anything to class except an open mind, really. Come to class willing to learn. Bring yourself a lunch, I guess. And we'll do the rest. Okay. Look forward to seeing you in class. Remember, I'm in Canada, so these are Canadian classes. I'm in Prince George, British Columbia. If you're in Ontario and you can get 8 or 10 people together, I'll come to you. I will fly out there or drive out there as the social situation might be and teach you a class. Otherwise, we're putting classes up on our website, iridiumsolutions.ca, all the time. Come check us out. Get signed up to be notified when the next class comes out, and let's get you trained. All right, take care. Remember, keep doing the things. The whole purpose of this is to be able to help people. And so take a moment to help those that you can touch, taste, feel, and smell. That means the people closest to you. Know who your neighbors are. Look out for one another. And if bad shit happens in your world, be ready to help.